Michelle Lupton here with a little video to show you how I made this card using alcohol inks. I haven't made a video in quite a while actually, and I have to apologise, my voice is sounding less than happy at the moment. I've got a cold, so not feeling 100% today, but still feeling well enough to make a couple of cards. I actually made this card before I did the video, and I liked it so much I decided to make a video. So I'm starting with a piece of Yupo, and I've just added probably a bit too much blending solution. I don't think I used quite that much on the first card that I made, but I wanted it to have plenty of blending solution because I wanted these colours to sort of fade out towards the edge. Usually when I make a panel of alcohol inks on Yupo, I usually cover the whole panel and have really intense colours, but for this card I didn't want that. I wanted intense colours sort of in the centre but fading out so that some of the card would actually be white. For those of you who know my style, I like some clean and simple cards, so white space is always good. So the colours of alcohol inks that I used, I started with Sunshine Yellow, and you can see that's actually pooling quite a bit, and it turns a sort of a more mustardy colour when it pools. So I tried a bit to sort of spread that out, and you can see I'm blowing it with the straw that I've got. Sorry my head gets in the way, but you've just got to get your head in the way to blow onto these. I really need to take a lesson from Jessica Frost-Bellis. She has a little, I don't know what you call it, a little blower that you use to clean your lenses on your camera. And she uses that to blow her alcohol inks around. I just use this straw. The advantage of using a straw is you can keep on blowing and blowing and blowing for as long as your breath holds out, really. And also it's incredibly cheap. Of course, the downside of it is, and I hate to tell you this, every so often you get some spit on your Yupo. It doesn't really matter that much, but yeah, that's what happens. Anyway, the other colours that I used were Salmon, Sandal, Sunshine Yellow, I already said Sunshine Yellow, sorry, Pink Sherbet, Patina, which is sort of green colour, and Aqua. And so I set that panel aside to dry. I actually fanned it a little bit with a hand fan, and then I've taken some just white cardstock, and I'm cutting this big happy die from Simon Says Stamp. This just arrived in the mail a couple of days ago, and I've already used it a few times. I think it's going to become a firm favourite of mine in my crafting. I've just laid it up twice. I could have made it a little bit thicker, but I thought twice would do. And I'm just sticking them together here with some Gina K Connect glue. It took me a good year, I'd say, between wanting to buy this glue and being able to buy this glue, because every single time I wanted to put in an order with someone that actually stocked it, they were out of stock. So it was really, really frustrating not being able to use it. And I had difficulty. I have arthritis in my hands, so sometimes I find a little squeezy bottle of the Ranger Multi-Medium Matte just a little bit hard. So this glue is really good for that. I also find that the Lawn Fawn glue in a similar sort of tube is really good as well. I've used that as well. Anyway, so I laid up the happy die. I also gave it a coat of Wink of Stella to give it a little bit of a shine. Now I'm going to use Stamp and White Emboss this sentiment from Birch Press Design. It's from the Make a Statement stamp set, also a brand new purchase of mine. And did you see how good I was? I actually used my anti-static powder tool. The number of times I stamp onto black to white emboss and I completely forget to use the anti-static powder tool. Number of little strips of black sentiments that end up in my rubbish bin because I forget to use the anti-static powder tool. I have to say I'm really proud of myself for not forgetting. Anyway, I'm cutting this down. I cut it down quite narrow because I didn't want it to cover up too much of the happy die cut. Now, trying to arrange this, I've already made one card, and the card that I already made was in this arrangement with the colour and the sentiment towards the right-hand side of the card. And you saw that card at the beginning of this video. And I laid it out and thought, oh yeah, that's what I'm going to do. But when I went to stick it onto the card front, I just went, no, I'm going to do this different. I'm going to put it upside down and have everything over to the left-hand side of the card, just to be different. But pretty much the cards are the same. I'm going to show you both the cards side by side when I'm finished doing this, but they're very, very similar. Of course, you can't get two cards identical to each other when you're using alcohol inks. It's just the nature of the medium that you're using, but they're very, very similar. Okay, so I have adhered this die cut, and then I'm going to adhere the sentiment over the top, but I had to let it sit for a little bit just so that glue would take. So I just cut down that sentiment while I was waiting for the glue to set there. I've added some glue to the back of the sentiment strip, sort of in a zigzag, because it's sitting up on top of the die cut sentiment. So I wasn't quite sure exactly which bits would actually be touching the die cut sentiment, so I put enough glue so that wouldn't be a problem. I've used my T-square ruler just to make sure everything is nice and straight, and of course, last final touch, I had to add some clear sequins. So that's pretty much the card. So thank you very much for watching. I hope to be making a few more videos this year, so stay tuned. And I hope it'll be a good craft year for all of us. So just adding these final few sequins, and I'll show you the two cards that I made side by side. So thank you very, very, very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!